And our world, our society is much like an arch. We're self-supporting. We have a strength in numbers. And in some places, it's our culture that is the keystone. And here, in this world, perhaps it's your constitution that is the keystone. There are many great figures that have come from South Africa and from this region. Luthuli, Mandela, de Klerk, and of course Desmond Tutu, who's affectionately known as the Arch. And we thought, after having a meeting with several people in different circumstances related to Indaba, the idea came forward from a group here, maybe we should make something that relates to these great people and to the worlds that they built. And of course, Desmond Tutu is a tremendous figure in leading our understanding of a better world. So the theory was that somehow there could be an arch for the arch. And we started to discuss that even further. And here on the upper right is the theater that we're in. And there's a wonderful place just nearby the Company Gardens at Whale and Adderley, which is right next to St. George's Cathedral and to the Parliament Building. It's a wonderful place that all of you probably know of. And we thought, just as an idea, what if there was an arch that was made here in this place that represents so many different worlds, the worlds of our faith and the worlds of our politics, the worlds of those places where we come together and where we sometimes divide politically. And so this is that location looking even closer. And so conceptually, we began to think, well, what if it were something made out of strands, somehow something that could be woven together into an arch? And it was discovered that your constitution here in South Africa has 14 lines in the preamble and 14 chapters in its main text. So it was thought perhaps this arch could be made out of 14 strands that somehow meet but don't exactly coexist together in a way that we easily understand. It takes time to understand. And these strands could be carved with these 14 lines. And of course, many of the words are wonderful. The most beautiful are the most sublime and the simplest. We the people, for example, is a powerful line in your constitution. So these sketches were made, and well, it was just kind of thought, well, why not? And couldn't it go here? And we began to work together with people here, and we eventually met through others. A wonderful architect, it's called Local Studios, here in Johannesburg, and Thomas Chapman has been a part of making a small prototype. So is Thomas here? This is Thomas. So this is the man in South Africa who made this prototype.
Thank you.
And I'm going to show a few more slides, but the most important thing here is that Thomas started to make this thing kind of out of nothing, out of dust. And he worked together with a wonderful craftsman named Dario, who's from Croatia, from Split. And we just didn't think it was possible. Of course, there is this arch, and there will be an idea of connecting this arch to the arch. And in some way, we hope that we will be able to think about a dream that might happen. Anything can happen here at Indaba, and there's a dream that's possible.
Thanks, Craig. So this is a real team effort, and I've been asked to introduce a few very important people, special people who are linked to this project. But first, before we do that, Craig next to me is going to read a letter from the Nobel Peace Institute.
Thank you, Thomas. It's a very powerful message, and I'm very happy on Schittle's behalf to share this with you. Dear Archbishop Desmond Tutu, from Oslo, the city of the Nobel Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Center sends its warmest regards to you. You gave hope and energy to the anti-apartheid movement from the 70s. For many decades, you have encouraged and inspired millions throughout the world who are fighting for justice, equal rights, and democracy. You continuously show leadership and give moral guidance to all those who believe we must side with the weakest and the poorest who need us most. With your visits to Oslo, you have spread your smile and optimism to us and to the many visitors at the museum. We remain thankful for that. Our mission is to inspire peace through stories like yours. Your way to freedom and justice has always been a peaceful and inspirational one. It is a way that has left its imprint on history and our understanding of true leadership. Your legacy is one we are humbled and proud of bringing on to future generations. Best regards, signed Liv Tørres, Executive Director of the Nobel Peace Center, written 5 days ago. Thank you.
Thanks. We couldn't actually make this project happen without the incredible support of some of our corporate partners, and I'd like to call Thabo Dloti, the CEO of Liberty, onto the stage right now to read us a sonnet. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We are really honored as Liberty to be associated with this wonderful event. In 21 years of celebrating the Constitution of South Africa, we felt it was an important occasion since we are celebrating our 60th birthday anniversary as a company. It is a celebration of freedom, which is why we honor the Arch. To the Archbishop Desmond Tutu, our Arch, to the man who speaks truth to power, who stood always at the heart of the fight, who shows the power of peace and calm, to our laughing bishop, sometimes stranded, often tender, man of God and grandfather of the people, whose broad shoulders comfort the nation. We honor you, our Arch, with 14 lines before 14 chapters, now written on the 14 arcs of wood, each bowing wooden arch, at once strong and yielding, creates a space of shelter and stillness for all, providing shade, but never blocking the view of the sun. Archbishop Tutu, much loved, we honor you. Accept this as our tribute to you. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you. So part of my job as the local architect is to get this thing passed through council. And I'm hoping, it hasn't happened yet, but I'm hoping that by calling the Mayor of Cape Town, Patricia de Lille, onto the stage right now, we can make that process a little bit easier. Madam Mayor.
What a great honor to be here. I would like to greet our own Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, our own Emeritus Arch Dungani, and our Archbishop right now, Archbishop Makgoba. And of course, we also want to send greetings to Mama Leah Tutu, that is not able to join us here today. And of course, the CEO of Liberty that have just spoken. When we conferred the freedom of the city of Cape Town to Archbishop Tutu in 1998, these words were dedicated to him. And I quote, "As a man of peace and deep-rooted spirituality, he has stood at the heart of the struggle for human rights in his country and has worked unceasingly to build a non-racial society where all people of this rainbow nation can become equal claimants." Close quote. Almost 2 decades later, these words continue to ring true in our country. Arch, through your leadership, you have bridged so many divides and brought together rich and poor, black and white. The preamble of our Constitution states that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity. Your moral leadership, Arch, and authority has always inspired us. With your humbleness, you warn us not to become arrogant or discouraged, and you continue to motivate us by reminding how far we have come as a nation, but never forget where we came from. So on behalf of all the people of the city of Cape Town, I want to thank you and Mama Leah for being our guiding lights at all times. Thank you for teaching us about courage and conviction. And Cape Town is going to be very honored to have this masterpiece right here in our city. Many of your contributions to our country's history is woven into the history of the city of Cape Town. And this installation will continue to remind us about your legacy, your values, for many, many decades to come. And this will be a daily reminder that the struggle for freedom was not in vain. Nkosi sikelele Afrika. God bless Africa. God seën Africa. Thank you. Woo.
Archbishop Desmond Tutu. He really insisted that this arch not be only about one arch, but about three arches. So we've actually got the previous Archbishop, Archbishop Ndungane, with us today as well as Archbishop Thabo Makgoba, and I'd like to invite them onto the stage right now, please, as well as Bishop Margaret Virtue.
I am quite overwhelmed, and am thankful for the complexion I have, because I'm just stunned. Isn't it a wonderful thing? I mean, that the arch has to depend usually on pillars as it stands. The arch, this arch, would have been absolutely nothing without all of those fantastic people such as yourselves. Of course, can you imagine when we said, now we've got to march, and nobody pitched up? That would have just shown the world how absolutely nothing we are without you and those who have gone before you. And so I want to say a very big thank you to yourselves and your forebears. And thank you for all of those who have been responsible for this magnificent occasion, and those who have thought up this quite remarkable concept. I hope they get my nose right. I just want to say a big thank you to God and to God's fellow workers. You. God is immensely proud of you. You destroyed a vicious system of injustice. And today we are free. Never mind the problems that we have. You destroyed a vicious system. And you ought to pat yourselves on your backs. All that we did was articulate your aspirations and to remind you, you are not second-hand. You are not a feeble copy. You're a glorious original. And God is looking down and saying to Madiba, hey, just look at them. Just look at them. Just look at what you, Madiba, Thabo, and all, Bears No Day, and all of them, just look at them now. Aren't they just fantastic? Thank you. Baya Danki. And go. Thank you. Thank you.
I think that on behalf of the church, I need to thank you for who you are. You are not only the arch, but you were the keystone that held the arch. And not only the keystone that held the arch, but you were the ground on which the arch stood. You ushered the biblical values that finally became part of the constitutional values in the preamble to our Constitution. You treated all of us, all South African, as created in the image of God and reflecting the spark with which God has created them. You encouraged us to celebrate difference and to respect the environment. God is also smiling and say, thank you, my dear son, for your laughter, for your very big heart. And our commitment and prayer is we will make those constitutional values real, because in our current state, we seem to be sitting lightly on the constitutional imperative. So, Dada, on behalf of all of us, Siti Enkosi for who you are.
Thank you, Father.